Welcome to my final project for the course ILT 5003. Introduction. Hello, my name is Ashley Ponce. The main goal of receiving my master's in special education is to better serve the special education population and to become a BCBA. A BCBA is a board-certified behavioral analyst. It is my main goal to become a BCBA. With my BCBA, I will be able to support special education students, parents, and teachers with behaviors in and outside the classroom. I am passionate about working with students with special needs, particularly students with behaviors. The socio-political nature of education. The readings in this course have made me more aware of injustices that we come across on a daily basis in our classrooms and schools. I currently work at a low-income school. We do not have the same resources that our counterparts in wealthier schools have. In my classroom, we have 2 iPads to use for our technology, while in the classroom at a wealthier school, they may have a whole classroom of iPads. As an educator, I try my best to give my students opportunities to learn, and I want them to be able to experience new things. However, with limited resources, there is only so much that can be done with the budget I have for my classroom and the money I spend from my own paycheck. We all know that low-income schools receive less funding and that these schools to be the ones who struggle, yet nothing is being done to change it. The highest level of schooling that most of my students' parents have received is from high school. I am concerned for my students educationally when they go home or over the summer. My students with special needs are constantly needing support, and I provide parents with things they can work on at home with their children. With some of my parents, this is not getting done. I don't think education is deemed as being important with my students' parents. I feel this because there is a lack of effort at home when students are asked to complete projects or are given an assignment. It would be great for parents to be more involved in the campus. By them being at our school, they are able to see what their children are being taught. This can help with the ideas on how to extend teaching at home. It would be beneficial to all parties if our campus would invite the community to see what is happening on our campus. This can bring in opportunities for trainings for parents and provide information on different events that are going on at our school. There is an achievement gap that already exists that as educators we should be trying to fight and close. When certain schools are not given the ability or resources to be able to be competitive, this gap will continue to grow. Foundational theories in interdisciplinary learning and teaching. Behaviorism, Skinner. Learning occurs through operant conditioning and reinforcement of desirable behaviors. This theory is commonly used in special education to help students reach a desired outcome through reinforcement. Cognitivism or constructivism, Piaget. Learning occurs when the individual has an active role in their education. This idea is seen throughout many grade levels when students engage in activities such as group projects or presentations. Social constructivism, Vygotsky. Learning is achieved through an individual's active role in their environment. By being cognizant of what is occurring, they are actively learning. Vygotsky also developed the idea of zone and proximal development that explains what somebody is currently capable of and what they can achieve through collaboration and assistance. Situated learning, Lave and Winger. Learning occurs when the context of the community that the student is in. Students learn and engage in this theory when they participate in situations that involve a specific context like science labs. Constructionism, Papert and Harrell. Students are able to progress academically through indirect means of education. They brought the idea of learning by making. The student gains knowledge by creating physical constructs. Andragogy, Knowles. Focused on adult education and how they learn differently to differentiate characteristics such as experience and state of mind. This idea comes into play when adults attend workshops or higher learning. Interdisciplinarity is defined as combining two or more educational disciplines. As educators, we know this term all too well. It is important to incorporate a blending of subjects because learning is not confined to one certain area. As a special education teacher, I do this on a daily basis. When I teach math, I find ways to connect it to science or reading. In one of my recent lessons, we were discussing ramps. First, we had to discuss what a ramp is and what it is used for. Next, we discussed different angles for ramps. For instance, which angle would be beneficial for the certain thing we need it for. From there, my students would brainstorm if they were to build a ramp for something, what their ramp would look like. My students explore their learning through play throughout the day when I am not teaching a lesson. So I have to blend subjects together and incorporate them in their play. In our writing center, I provide manipulatives that come from the outside. These can be flowers, leaves, pictures, etc. By providing these examples to students, they are activating prior knowledge on a previous encounter or memory they had, and they are able to build on that knowledge through writing or exploring more about the object. After reading the articles by Moran and Asani, I wanted to research more into interdisciplinarity. I'm still exploring different methods and examples of what I can implement into my classroom to ensure that my students are learning to the greatest extent possible. Key theories with respect to diverse educational contexts. When an education has a solid foundation of the different learning theories, they are able to take a multifaceted approach when dealing with diverse populations. However, how you have to approach the population you are working with depends on the context of the learning environment. Different ideas like learning styles, educational background, language, socioeconomic status, and motivations all play a part in determining the approach one will take with a specific population. It is important to take all these factors into consideration when determining what action to take. From there, an educator may utilize some, if not all, of their learning theories to create a cohesive environment for learning. How key foundational theories address diverse learners. Once you have an idea of where your student population is coming from, the educator can now differentiate the approach to learning that meets the individual's need. The type of education that your students are working towards will always play a part in how you approach learning. Younger learners are building foundational skills, so your approach should address how you would create this foundation. As students progress through the grades, they will start to build upon what they have already learned. When this approach occurs, the educator will start to create a new context of learning as we advance the student's knowledge to encompass new concepts that incorporate problem-solving skills that will encourage the individual to start thinking more freely about their lives. Critical reflection. Working in a low socioeconomic school, I believe this course has helped me become more critically and socially conscious. By becoming more aware of how the education system has failed students in these areas, I hope to be able to educate parents at the campus that I am involved in. As educators, we must be conscientious of the communities that we work for, so we may be prepared to work with the diverse populations that will need our help. At meetings with the community, I can learn more about their expectations for the campus and their students. The readings from this course have helped me professionally have a deeper understanding of learning theories that I can use to better support my students. Plan of action. My plan of action is to continue teaching for the next 2 years. During this time, I will take the information I learned from this course and implement it into my classroom. I will use interdisciplinary teaching to better support my students to help them achieve. By bringing together the different theories that have been outlined, I will be able to ethically attend to all of my students' needs. I I hope you enjoyed my final presentation over the information I gained from this course.